Happy Christmas in July. Oh, wait a minute. What are we doing? Wrong episode.
I was like, what is going on here? I saw you put that on. I'm like, what am I missing? We didn't discuss this.
Sure we did. You're just getting old and you forgot.
Yeah, most likely.
Oh, there's all kinds of people hopping around in the chat tonight.
Yes, lots of activity. See a lot of people there, a lot of the usuals. So do we want to start off with our Larry's getting paid again, I see.
Larry, no, he's one of the usual suspects.
Yes.
That would be Larry. Yeah, let's see what we got here. First of all, thank you everybody for tuning in tonight. It's always great to see you in the chat. Make sure I specify. I don't want Larry thinking I'm watching him on a hidden camera or something.
Yes.
Not that anybody would want that. Yeah, you, Larry. That's what we're talking about. Better start with our sponsor.
Yes.
You know what? You make a very valid point, Joseph Lipinski. You very, very much so do. Let's do that since he mentioned it. Let's hear from our sponsor real quick, and then we'll come back with any news and updates we have here. Give me a moment to find that. Here it is.
The following episode of Large Scale Live is brought to you by Splitjaw, makers of quality metal products for the G-scale modeling world. For rail clamps, expansion joints, bridges, and more, Splitjaw Products has you covered. For more information, visit their website at www.railclamp.com.
And there it is. So let's start off with events that we have coming up.
I got a new product.
What do you got? What do you got?
Oh, just so it's here. So the Pacific has the feed water heater.
Yeah.
So usually, if you get one from aristo-craft, you have that to look at from the top. Sink marks and mounting hole. So I re-engineered it so it mounts from the bottom. So now your top is nice and smooth.
Oh.
So
smooth, like the top of your head.
Yes.
I'd just look like a lumpy potato if I did that, you know.
So, and it still has all the original mounting holes and all that, and it mounts from the bottom instead of having it mount from the top. So these will be on the website shortly.
Oh, nice. And we'll give Sean an honorable mention, but we can't play his sponsor video all the time. You are a moderator, Sean, so if you'd like to post a link in the chat to that video, I think you posted it on your Facebook, or I don't know if you did it on your YouTube or not, but if you want to post a link for people to see that, you can.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see here.
Shrink me down. Shrink me down.
Let's see. Shrink you down? Oh, sorry. Aren't you able to do that? Or you logged in the wrong way?
No, I can, but
okay.
That's your job.
Let's see.
See, and I did sell one already, so.
Oh, awesome.
Actually, I think he bought two.
Sorry, one moment here.
And to answer John's question.
Technical difficulties on my end.
Well, I'm going to answer a question here. My train shed is coming along. We're starting on portions of the layout. That's what we worked on most of today.
Aha, here we go. All right. So, first thing I'll say is hopefully everybody that was within distance to go went and attended the Cincinnati Garden Railway Society's tour yesterday and today. I did go yesterday and I saw a couple layouts. Being at the tour till 4 o'clock today and then 4.5 hours to drive home wouldn't have got me home in time for this. So I just went for the one day. But it was a great tour. I got pictures and stuff that I can't show right now because I haven't gotten them off my camera yet. So, apologies.
Slacker. You had all day today. What have you been doing?
Yeah. So that was obviously yesterday and today. Again, as always, largescaletrains.com and click on events at the top up here. If you have an event that's G-Scale related, and it's not on the list, you can submit it through there. Hey, Nico, check your email.
Larry says to stop whining.
Did you hear me, Nico?
Yeah, got it.
So one thing I found out about today is the San Diego, let me see here, San Diego Garden Railway Society, their West Coast regional meet did get canceled. I really haven't gotten a whole lot of info on why, whether it was attendance or something else came up. But someone forwarded that off to me today. If you check their website, you'll see they have marked on there that it was canceled, unfortunately. But coming up on August 23rd and 25th, pardon me, dry mouth, is the G-Scale Southern Regional Get-Together. And let's see, Ted, that is in the chat, has been sending me all kinds of info today on that. As soon as I locate said info in front of me, I'll tell you what Ted's been telling me. Well, actually, the first thing I could do is probably show you the picture of the show car, if it would come up. One moment. I need like some technical difficulty standby background thing. It could be Kyle. It could be Kyle Kuiper, like sitting there like this, like kind of looking. Yes, Kyle, I'm talking about you. Where the heck did that go?
Jonathan has an event.
Yes, he does, and I will get to that in one moment. Because I don't want to stop on what I was on. Oh, yep. Hey, Kyle, at least I thought of you. All right, Ted, I'm trying to find the link where you sent me the info. But, of course, it's under my MrPictovid stuff, wherever the heck that went. Ah, there we go. Try this again. Why didn't? Oh, that's why I didn't take that. Good grief! One of them nights. Ah, there we go. So I found it.
Yay! You found a special purpose
in life. No, I haven't found that yet. Apparently, social media influencer or whatever the heck this is I'm doing, isn't it? So this is the official show car for the meet in Georgia that Ted sent me. Very nice looking car. Ted, as you see in the comments, says it's a USA box car. I believe that's one of their American Series cars.
We got 40 footers.
40 footers. That's why I can't see it. And as far as the other info that Ted gave me, as soon as I get this off of my screen. So, on the Southeast Regional Get-Together in Atlanta, again, August 23rd, 25th, Ted said there are 15 or more layout tours. Friday, there is a banquet. Saturday, there's a train show with 50-plus table of G-scale trains. They're going to have the kids make and take clinic. Of course, the show car I just showed you. Let's see. I will put this link in the chat that Ted sent me for... Are you on the other issue, Nico?
I'm working on it.
Okay, just making sure.
I haven't heard anything back, so.
All right, so I put the link to the Southeast Regional G-Scale Get-Together in the chat that Ted sent me. Friday there is a buffet. Tickets are selling well for it and will likely sell out. There's only 100 seats at the buffet, and there's 100 of the show cars produced. Some of the vendors are going to have there is USA Trains. Trains is going to be there. Me Loves Trains, Split Jaw, and some other vendors that I obviously don't have info on. Also, the 2025 NGRC and the BTO will have tables at the show. Note on the Kids Make and Take Flat Car Clinic on Saturday. You do have to make reservations for that. They also do have lots of door prizes. Friday night from USA Trains, Pico.
Andrew did a great job at Make and Take up in Massachusetts.
That's because I didn't make anything. If I had made something, it would have looked terrible. Again, 15 layouts are open for tours Friday and Sunday. There's a few offering Thursdays, including also a tour of the Split Jaw Factory tour.
Oh, nice.
I feel like we should have went, Nico. So we can see behind the curtain.
Good.
Also a Trains warehouse tour on Friday. Pre-tours Thursday, August 22nd. Let's see. Layout tours and buffet are Friday, August 23rd. Train show Saturday, August 24th, and layout tours Sunday, August 25th. Also, the hotel is currently showing sold out, but they're attempting to add more rooms tomorrow. John, am I coming east for the tour in PA in October? Maybe.
I was just going to click on it. You beat me to it.
I cannot give you a definitive yes at the moment, but I'm definitely not giving you a no. I have to wait and see what October holds when it gets here. So let me backpedal away on this. Back to our calendar. Ted, if there's anything I missed mentioning about the get together in Atlanta, please let me know. I tried to make sure I grabbed everything you'd messaged me. Also, the Columbus Garden Railway Society is going to have their open garden tour September 8th this year. Again, that's always got a ton of layouts on it, and I guarantee you're not going to be able to see all of them. So you definitely won't go home going, man, I wish there were more layouts to see. It's always a good tour. I also picked up today when I was browsing about that the Tulsa Garden Railroad Club is going to have a Garden Railway tour September 15th.
I'm happy to see a lot more of these tours popping up. These are good.
Sorry, September 14th and 15th, 9 to 4, and then 1 to 4 on Sunday. Now, I did get some other info on... I was talking to our friend Vernon Guest from Reindeer Pass. Many of you may know him. Because I was looking to see... Because I didn't see some info on the website when I looked at it. 1 second. Where'd it go? Okay, so for their tour, it is $10 per carload. So if you've got one person in your car, or 530 if you can fit them, it's just $10. They've been selling the tour books at any of the club events, and also at Reindeer Pass itself, you can purchase them. They can also be picked up at any of the tour locations the day of the tour. So if you just show up to one of the homes, you can pay and get a brochure to go and see the rest of them. In Vernon's own words, it's a pretty sweet book. It's got pictures, maps, and details. Also gives you a chance to win an LGB starter set. So, getting distracted by Jonathan here. I can see he's getting anxious. He's going to have to hang on one more second, though. Or more. So if you're in the Tulsa, Oklahoma area, I recommend you check that out. And of course, as John Sinkovich was asking me, I hope I didn't say his last name wrong just now. He'll let me know. The Pennsylvania Garden Railway Tour is going to be October 6th. Not sure what that sound just was. Which is always a good tour as well. That one, if I remember correctly, you do have to pay to do that one, if I remember correctly, Nico. Does that sound right?
Yes. You go through the Pennsylvania Railway Museum.
And
I'm
sorry, you'll have to school me one day on how to properly say your last name. I like that spelling, Dackman.
As you can see, our guest is joined, just so you know.
Okay.
So we can add her in a minute, or if you want to add her now.
Nancy, if you can hear us, can you give us a thumb up? Because Nico and I can't see you. Okay. All right.
We'll be bringing you on in a second.
Yeah. We're just wrapping up our other stuff here. Just give me one moment. Holy moly, I'm getting too many messages from people on this end. Let's see. Where did that image go?
Like I said, Railroad Museum of Pennsylvania. Clicking on the wrong screen. There we go. And the Columbus tour is free. Take your time, Andrew. Jonathan is just messing around for once. How serious he always is, all the time.
Okay, so the other info I just got today from our friend Vernon Guest, not to be confused with his brother Victor, who I also talked to, although I do get them confused at times. The 2025 Midwest Garden Railroad Gathering has been announced. They'll be updating their website with details and that. I don't even have this on my calendar with any links yet, but I will as soon as I get a moment. Will be June 4th through June 7th, and of course sponsored by the Tulsa Garden Railroad Club, which is also having the tour coming up.
You're circling back on us.
Am I?
Well, you're talking about 2025 here.
Huh?
You're talking about June next year.
Yeah, how's that circling back? That's going forward.
I know, but you're like circling back to June. You're gonna start confusing people, telling them.
Oh, I follow what you're saying. Yes, this is next year. This last one. Everything else I talked about is 2024. This is 2025, and also, I also don't have this other on the website yet, but I would like to give it a mention as well. Will be the 2025 Northeast Ohio Large-Scale Train Show. The date for that is going to be May 31st next year, and that will be moved to a larger location. Again, I'll get all these things updated to the website. It's not my fault. My wife forced me to go on a garden railroad tour yesterday, okay? That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. All right. And since Jonathan has waited so patiently, we do have, let me get rid of this off the screen, unless you're thinking of something I forgot, Nico.
Nope, I don't have anything right now.
So Jonathan is having a get-together at his place, and he put together a promo video for it.
Where would his place be for those that don't know?
Northeast Ohio is the furthest I can go on that. At the end of the video, he's got a phone number that you can call or text him if you're interested in going, and he'll give you the info, which, I wouldn't publicly put my address out there either. And if you do know Jonathan's address, you people know who you are. Don't put it in the chat. Don't.
I have it right here.
Don't do it. Bad Nico. Like the old bad Andy Domino's commercials. So, without further ado, we'll spin up Jonathan's promo video he has here.
Okay, and then we'll bring on our guest.
Yep.
In a world filled with cat videos, ridiculous memes, and YouTube shorts not filmed in landscape, Cabadoma Railroad, located in Northeast Ohio, brings you the first annual Train Meet Extravaganza. August 10th at 10 a.m. We plan to run trains until the cows come home. Bring your battery-powered or live-steam trains to run on our layout, or simply come and enjoy the trains. For more information, call or text the number at the bottom of this flyer.
And if you didn't catch that, you can always scroll back and pause the video to get the number. I'm not putting it in the chat because then bots will probably start scraping it. And real quick, because if not, I'm going to forget till the end of the show and he's going to scold me for it. Here's our other sponsor, Milev's Trains, and then we will have our guest, Nancy, on for everyone that's been patiently waiting. So thank you.
And Nancy, who's been patiently waiting.
All right. Would you like to do the honors, Nico?
So without further ado, we have our special guest this time. For those of you that have read Garden Railways, Nancy was a longtime contributor with basically the plantings and anything having to do with, what do you call it, the horticulture? Am I saying that right?
I believe so.
Okay. So without further ado, let's bring on Nancy.
Hi, everybody.
Hello, Nancy.
Hello, how are you?
I'm well.
Good. Glad to have you on our show. We
Thank
appreciate
you.
you taking the time to come on.
Thank you for having me.
Sorry, I'm doing my thing on my end. Apologies, Nancy. I'm not ignoring you.
No, I was late. I could not figure out how to get in. I lost the instructions, I guess. I don't know. I've been busy working on my railway all day.
Yeah, that's good. That's what we're supposed to be doing.
Absolutely. And it's like I told you, whenever we test, everything is perfect. It works great.
Yes.
We can just ask Shane Stewart from Canadian Railways if he's in the chat. He knows all about that.
Yeah.
So no worries.
Well, it's good that you're working on your railway. I was doing the same thing today.
Say it again.
As I was doing the same thing again, working on my railway today.
Oh, you were?
Out
Okay,
the yard,
great.
yes.
Yeah.
Moving rocks.
Yes.
So I don't know where you want to start, with what portion you want to start with.
Do we have the photos that I gave
do.
to you through Dropbox?
Yep, I just got those downloaded. I see they're numbered. Are those in the order you wanted to look at them?
Yes, please. First,
Okay.
let's start with the non-numbered file, the what I call the handout. So I've given a lot of clinics
Okay.
at Garden Railway conventions and other events, and I usually have a handout because I don't hear well. Some other people don't hear well. It's good to have some facts on paper, or in this case, one that people can look at and download. So if you can show that, then and let them see it for a minute, then they'll know that they can come back to it if they want to revisit this video. They can go back to it, the first page there, and see the information, all the websites and other information.
It may not be formatted 100% how you had it, Nancy, because I had to kind of play with it to get it to open up, but
Okay.
I believe it's all there.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, that's good enough. That's
let's
fine.
see. Where did it go? I think that's it. So I can zoom in on that some.
So basically, this outline is showing exactly the way I'd like to present the information today. And basically, it's about my past build, the MARC car, my current builds, starting with the Phillips covered bridge, then the Salmon Falls truss bridge, and then I want to talk about some plants.
Okay. Is that good, Nancy?
That's good. That's good. Yes.
Okay. All right. So would you like me to go with the first picture you had, or?
Already?
All right. Let's see. Where did I go?
I found out about the Merci train, or the Gratitude train, from France at Boothbay Railway Village. So this was a few weeks ago. I went down there, And they have since I first saw it in 2017, they now have it. They now have a canopy over it to try to prevent UV and rain and whatever from destroying it. This car could be as old as 150 years old. It's wooden. It was sent to the United States in 1947. And 1949. 1947 is when this country got together 700 railway cars filled with food and sent them to France and Italy because they were starving after World War II. Their fields, their growing fields had all been bombed and or neglected because of the war. So I got interested in this. I made my own 7/8 scale model for at the time I had a 7/8 scale railway. So we can now go to the next photo.
Yeah. Give me one.
Number two is about GR News, Garden Railroading News.org has published for free a
There it is.
story that I wrote about the MARC train. And here's the first part of it. So in that picture, you'll see the car that I made. You just saw the original, the number, the 1-to-1 car. And this is the one that I made and got to run it last March and runs great. Dave Frediani is the one who actually made the car. I just decorated it with the symbols. So if you go to the next frame, you'll see one of those.
Number 3. Okay. And I apologize, Nancy. For some reason, these did not order numerically in the folder I pulled open, so I'm just kind of browsing.
They're still numbered, though, right?
Yeah, they are. Just for some reason on my end, they didn't show up in
that kind of thing
order.
happens, I'm afraid. Yeah, it's happened to me many times.
There it is. Number 3.
So Larry Otis said so many other states let their cars deteriorate and then got rid of them.
Quite a few of them have, yes, and one of them burned. And some of them are there are 2 right now in Utah that are being refurbished. And so this is kind of the overall symbol of the MARC train or the gratitude train. And then next number 4, shows the, one of the province, there it is. It's, this is how I got those decorations for I went online and I, Googled French provinces and came up with these symbols. They may have other names. People are always correcting me because I don't say them the way they'd like to. There are people who are very, very fussy about this. And the MARC train is very personal to some of them, especially to some soldiers who served in the wars, not necessarily World War II, but any war. So anyway, I did a pretty good job, I think, on my my MARC train, and it was really a lot of fun. I put together an exhibit, and that's how, when I met you guys down at the Northeast Large Scale Train Show, I have to say it slowly because it's a long name. And so I got to show everybody there what it was about. And all of that information, for the most part, is in the grnews.org last page. So if you can't find it, go way down to the last page, and there it should be. And there's links on that article, in that article.
Okay, great.
Wonderful.
Yeah, that was a very nice car. I saw that up in in Massachusetts at the
Northeast Large Scale Train.
They have for those of you that don't go there or haven't been there, they have a section of a table called the Dragon Brag. And and people get to show off the stuff they build. And there was a couple other custom or hand built or modified cars, engines, and then Nancy's car was there with, you had a backdrop with all the description in it, which was very nice.
I call it a science project.
Yes,
type
yeah, exactly.
display. Right.
But yes.
So we can move on if you'd like.
Okay. Now,
Sure.
number 5 is a video. Is that what you want to show right now?
Yes, if number 5 is a video, what I'm going to show you is, I believe
Okay.
it's my new railway.
All right.
It's from the, not facing, no, it's opposite the house. As you come into the yard, this is what you're going to see.
Okay. Ooh.
Oh, and the noise is my grandson cutting firewood. So Maine has a lot of trees, has a lot of lumber, a lot of timber. They make all kinds of products with the trees. So what we're looking at here is the not the track side, but the other side. Uh-oh, it's getting louder.
I can turn it down some.
All right, thanks. I was really boogieing today, trying to get this all on video or so those are the hay-scented ferns. We'll get back to those later on. What this first thing is that's the Phillips covered bridge, not covered yet, but it does have the Sandy River, not wet, but there it is. And it's showing the one day that Phillips allowed log drivers to drive logs down the Sandy River, and it was a bust. The logs went all over the town. Some of them got clogged in the dam, and they were refused access to the river again. So they've never had log driving again. However, the bridge, the Sandy River, the Phillips Bridge over the Sandy River, was modified to allow many flat cars filled with timber, and they had to that's one of the reasons they made it a covered bridge, was to beef it up. And so because normally you don't see a railroad bridge that's a covered bridge, this is one of the few. So we'll get back to this.
Okay. Let's see. So number 6 would be this image.
So what I want to say here is that I just yesterday got my new garden trains. There it is, pictured there. Garden Trains Annual. It's the 2024 Garden Trains Annual. I wrote a story in there about my third design story, and it has more about the MARC car and more about my railway, the Phillips and Rangeley Railway. So I don't know, I can't find it in here. Well, when you get your own, oh, here it is. When you get your own, you'll be able to find it. So I'll just give you a quick look, because you're supposed to be paying for this, I guess. So there it is. And it's kind of expensive because it's an annual rather than a regular every month or 2 or 3. So, but it's worth it. There's lots of good information in there. And that's one way that we learn, is by reading and seeing and getting instruction. So it's a good way. And this is my train, the LGB made number 2 engine. This is one of the earlier engines that the Sandy River and Rangeley Lakes made. So there's going to be more about that in the next photos.
I actually saw one of those locomotives on the tour yesterday. I got to say, I'm actually kind of fond of that locomotive now.
I just sold 2 of them.
Flying off the shelves, are they?
Yes.
Okay.
I sold one up in Massachusetts, and then I sold one the other day.
Are you talking about the LGB one or the full
Yes.
scale? Yeah, the
LGB.
Okay.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. This is at Phillips Phillips, Maine. At the this photo was at the Phillips Historical Society Museum, and they had to go into a file drawer to find this postcard here. And so I took a picture of it so that I could have the actual, this is the only picture I have of the number 2, which was the one of the Phillips and Rangeley Railway locomotives. And I don't have the car behind it. I don't have that car. I guess that's a wood car.
Yeah, it looks like a tender.
It does look like a wood tender, yes, so carrying wood, but I don't know. I'll have to. There's a very smart cast of people who work at this museum, and they have lots of answers. So I'll have to ask them about that. So
where is the museum located?
Phillips, Maine.
Okay.
So Phillips, Maine was the hub for the Sandy River and Rangeley Lakes Railroad. Most people don't hear about it, but there's a lot going on. There's a roundhouse and quite a yard there, and you can go and visit it. So I went and visited, took a ride on a train there on the original 2-foot gauge railway tracks.
That's neat.
Yeah, I have a picture later on of part of the yard. And this engine, the tank part is, I have a picture of that later on.
Okay.
This is in the museum, just to show you that I was there, and we can move on. I just wanted to give a shout out to that wonderful historical museum. So what we're looking at here is, before I went to the museum, I was looking for other ways to find pictures of the covered bridge in Phillips. And this is the only place that I found a picture. This is a static, well, it's static now because it's online, but it was online. But this is a model, not a garden railway, but a indoor railway, and of the covered bridge. And notice that it has these 5. I think this one has 4, but it did have 5. Structures above the roof that were to aid in keeping the bridge together, so that the heavy loads of timber coming through there didn't break up the bridge. So this picture here, thank you for enlarging it. This picture here is part of a larger picture that I found in a book, but you need to scroll it up a little bit more to see the bridge. There it is. So what we're looking at here is basically what I saw and why I wanted to model my Phillips covered bridge the way I did. So of course mine's dry, and this picture is dry, isn't it? You can't touch any water on it, but I wanted to get this effect. What I don't have yet are all the figures, but I intend to have very small figures on under the bridge, and then larger, maybe even 7/8 scale figures down at the bottom on the ground where it would be the bottom of your photo that you're showing right here.
So a forced perspective.
To force perspective,
Okay.
or compressed, people who are smart people call it compressing the image. I'm not one of those. I do the force thing, but anyway, trying to help people out here to see it the way that I saw it, so that I could get that image a couple of days ago when I put that together. So this was it. This was the one day that it was allowed, and never again, because this dam here got all clogged up. It was jammed. It was a log jam.
Looks like a wreck for sure.
So it was a mess. And so I also, here's another fun thing. I like to think of my mistakes as a take. When you're watching the movie and they say take 1, take 2, whatever. Well, that's how I see the things that go wrong in my life. They're mistakes. And so right away, I wanted to have the Phillips mistake shown and give it some credence, because they learned something that day, didn't they?
Yeah.
That's
We all
for
learn
sure.
from our mistakes, right?
That's right. That's one way to learn. So we can move on. And I have a little sparkly blue glass from Etsy I bought that is down in there to add to the.
Okay.
And when it's sunny, you can see that sparkly stuff happening there. But this was done too late in the day. There's my stacked stone that I'm going to have uniformly the same height. The train will come over the top of that stacked stone, except for right here, I'm going to put a bridge right there in that bare space where that wall is bare. And I'll show you that bridge. I think I included it. Show it to you later. But it's basically a log bridge, like cribbing, only this is a log bridge rather than cribbing. And that's the office for the mine. And there's the track bed where Woody is on the tractor there. That is what the track bed is going to look like after I get the track on there. The building down below is the mine. The mine locomotive goes in there. The engine for the slate cars goes in there. And then on the other side, you can see the train is on the tracks. This is the only track I have laid so far, 8 feet within Saddleback Mountain. And Saddleback Mountain had mining going on. So I put together a rock fall there made of my gems.
Huh.
Is this going to be a point-to-point railway, or is it going to...
That's it. It's point-to-point. Phillips on one end, Rangeley on the other end, and Saddleback in the middle.
Okay.
Just like in real life.
Right. Very neat.
I don't think I opened the same one.
I think this is the same one.
It's
But we get to see my sandy river again. There actually is sand in there.
Well, that is the file that was labeled 12.
And this stone wall that you're looking at right here, that I've covered the sides, but that's top part there, that's the reason I'm doing a point-to-point line. That's the space right there that I'm going to have to probably cut off the tops of those blocks with an angle grinder. And there's where the track, these stones are going to go up to meet this right here, where the tractor is on the roadbed.
Yeah, that's the grade. That's where the track's gonna be.
That's the grade for the track, yes. And that should meet up with the bridge at the same height. I like level track. I like pretty much level track.
It makes for less problems, that's for sure.
I'm not bored with that. Lots of moss, lots of lichen.
Now that entire structure is built from just stacking that stone up. There's not
Stacking stone, but I did glue them together. I used a caulking gun and a what is it called? It's called exterior grade, landscape. Landscape, is it Loctite? Yeah. I don't think it's Loctite. It might be.
I know they sell it for when you're gluing together the pond stone. Is that the same stuff?
Gluing together the pine stone?
Ponds, when you're doing like a waterfall in a pond.
Oh, yeah. No.
Oh, yeah,
you can. About. I did do a waterfall in Maine because he didn't think that the mortar would hold. I usually use mortar.
Yeah.
But I did not in this one in Maine. I'm going to see a picture of the railway later on. And so this is one of my other bridges. This is going to be central and will join together one part of the railway with another with a lift bridge. And so most of the time I will not keep the lift bridge in place. But what I want you to see in this photo is the trestle on the far right, upper right there. You see the trestle approaches the Salmon Falls. Yes, there it is. There's a
Okay.
trestle approaching the Salmon Falls Bridge. This is a metal bridge, steel bridge. And then there's trestle on the other side with cribbing holding up the actual bridge. See the cribbing?
Yep.
The cribbing is going to be down in my walkway because the bridge is 42 inches. My space is 52 inches. So I have to have a little bit left over to go onto the bridge has to go onto, no, the track has to go onto the, on either side there.
Right.
So now we can finish with this photo. I'm going to show you another picture of this bridge. This is the bridge. You can see the trestle on the left. You can see the trestle approaching from the distance, and then it's a single track. This is called the Salmon Falls Bridge. If you talk to people who are in the historical society, but I'm going to have a 2-rail or 2-train bridge, because that's what I got when I ordered one from Splitjaw. So giving a little plug to Splitjaw here. Let's see the next photo, and I think that might show my bridge.
Okay. Let's see.
So there's the gap in the wall. There's the bridge, which is obviously way too low. You can see on the far side of the wall there how I've already started to stack the stones, but I have to go up a couple more. Yes, I have to go up a couple more to get to the height of the track coming out of the tunnel. And so the cribbing is going to be the timber cribbing, same as the trestle, is going to be raising it up to the right height. And then there'll be trestle on the right and the left side of the bridge.
And an approach on either side.
Yes. So here you can see the gap. This is the front of my house. You can see the gap there where it's going to fit. And it has to be a lift bridge because it is, after all, the front of my house. And it probably wouldn't be very welcoming if I had it covered with a bridge the whole time.
Well, it depends on who's coming to the door.
That's right. They could go around, and they will go around when I'm actually running the train. They will have to go around.
So do you know why they went with 2-foot gauge there as opposed to 3-foot, or was it just the terrain needed that tight?
You mean in Maine, in range?
Yeah.
Yes. The reason they went with 2-foot was because there was a man, and this story is in my article in Garden Trains Annual, but I think it would be okay if I told a little bit of it to you now. They went with 2-foot gauge because there was a man who had visited or been a part of the Festiniog Railway in Wales, and I've never been there, and I'm not an official. I'm not smart enough to know all about Wales and the railways that they have there, but I got a book called what is it called? It's about it's about 2-foot narrow gauge railways in Maine. It's called Maine's 2-footers, I think. That's right. Linwood W. Moody. It's in my article. And he talks about, why 2-footers were necessary. So the thing is, Maine is chock full of trees. And if there isn't a tree there now, there will be one next year. Okay? That they grow very, very quickly. These are young birch trees that I put in here. I wanted to have something bright and, white barked trees to lighten up the front of my house. I live in almost a black house. It's a cedar house, and it has black stains or mildew, whatever you want to call it, on the wood. And but it's sort of pretty, but also just very dark. And so usually the wood crib isn't there, but this was taken last spring before I put that away. So we can go to the next photo. This is hay-scented fern. We are now in the plant category of my talk today. And so hay-scented fern I like very much because, one, it's a native, it's a Maine native. It's very fine, has tiny little fronds, tiny little frondlets in between and along the rib of the main frond there. So they're easy to grow. And they're on the other side of the wall as well, so that when they get taller, these are newly planted, when next year, when they come in from, when they're supposed to, they'll be taller than the wall. So they'll be considered the trees in the distance, which you can see in that black and white photo of the Phillips covered bridge. There are actually trees. The Sandy River is a very windy river. And so you're actually, and the bridge actually is askew to the river. It's at an angle. So
we had a question there. What plant zone are you in?
Okay, so I live in Ellsworth, Maine, which is zone 5 to 6, which really means that it was 5 for many, 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 many years. Now with global warming, it's 5 to 6, and it will be 5 again sometime in the future. That's what I'm told about plant zones. So I tend to want to grow plants that like zone 5, but I do have one Japanese maple, and it's the heat rather than the cold that is a problem for that maple. So I think it's going to be okay. Another photo. The other native plants that I'm growing are valuable to me because they don't go away like the hay-scented fern does, and they show their colors. In fact, they look better during the winter, and that's mosses. There are many different types of mosses, and also lichen. So mosses are one kind of plant. Lichen actually has 2 kinds of plants sandwiched together, fungi and algae. They're not exactly plants.
I just wanted to
Say again?
Oh, so no. Don't pay no mind to me. Something started playing on my end. Apologies, Nancy.
Okay. So this is one picture showing in winter how how my moss and lichen are liking the environment.
Let's see.
I'm assuming that's snow on it, correct?
Oh yeah, that's snow. It was just
Okay.
a dusting that time,
Yeah.
but we didn't get that much snow last winter. We had a lot the year before, but not this year. So next photo, please. So here's an example of lichen that I have used. Sometimes you get a big bunch of lichen that falls out of a tree. And so I found this big bunch. It was actually attached to a twig, a large twig that fell out of a tree. And so I stretched it and I covered the roofs on these 2 buildings. Now, these 2 buildings are not fussy. They kind of remind me of English buildings, the stone and the moss growing all over them. These are my Airbnb buildings for bugs and birds. And thanks, Russ. And so these are just to give a little bit of brightness and color. Home Depot sells these buildings if you want them.
Is that a water tower in the background there?
That's a water tower. That's a scratch-built water tower that my grandson built.
Oh.
He's very clever. And well, actually, it's a paint can. I gave him the paint can. I said, make a water tower out of this. And he does all the welding. All the metal part is welded together. And we did have a cat up there and a guy climbing the ladder to get the cat. But they haven't made it out there yet. My last railway, that's how they were shown. Next photo. So I just got a message from Peter Richards, and he says that the main zones are 6 along the coast down to 3 in the north. But there are many sites where I've seen it 5-6, which means you could get 5 someday. And I did get 30 degrees below zero. I believe that's a 5. I measured. It was with the wind chill, but that's still the plants register it as 5. So whatever, take a chance if you want.
That's why I moved south. I don't want that weather.
This is butterfly plant, Buddleia, and I sort of like it, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to phase it out. I'm pretty sure I'm going to plant it somewhere else or give it away or whatever. I don't like the way that the flowers look like they're exploding out of the plant and going sideways in all different directions. It doesn't work for me in a garden railway. I want something that looks like trees or has an up and down, or, I mean, horizontal's good on the ground, but I don't know. I don't care for them. But I do like that they attract bugs and birds and stuff. So next photo. This is an arborvitae, or a cedar, if you will, although arborvitae is the more correct term. And I have the names for all of these plants in that original document that I had at the beginning of my slideshow. So you can find this if you want. I've only seen this one place, and it happened to be in front of Hannaford's, which is a supermarket that I shop at sometimes. And I just fell in love with the whole look of it, the green, the lime green, and the yellow leaves, the orange tips. It's a stunning look to it. However, it's not exactly a scale plant in that, although it could be, it's very, you see firs and spruces that have the leaves and branches going all the way to the ground. This could be. So what I wanted to try doing, and I may wait until it goes through the winter before I start doing it to these. I have 2 more that look just like this. If you go to the next photo, you'll see how I pruned one of those. You can see the one that I was just showing way up in the left-hand corner, okay? You see how bright and yellow that is? I love that. But I decided to make a clump here. And then it's a little messy down at the bottom because I have 3 branches that they were branches, but now they're trunks, aren't they? They're trunks on the on each of the trees that are clumped together there. So eventually those branches at the bottom that are shooting out to the side will be wired so that they'll go up as well, and they'll be littler, shorter, because they're younger. And so I'll have to show you later on another time how those look.
So you prune that big bush down to this little skimpy.
It's the same height, and yes, I took a lot of branches off of there. Okay?
I'd be afraid of killing the thing by doing that.
Well, it's possible that I have killed it by doing this, but I don't think so. I think that arborvitae is a very rugged plant in this zone, and I've pruned literally thousands and thousands of plants like this. So I'm good. I'm game. Okay.
So we have 2 questions here. One, Chuck is asking, the local nursery would know what zone he is in.
Oh yes, you can find out too if you go to arborday.org. I wrote a book called Miniature Garden Guidebook. I don't have that on my document at the beginning, my handout, because it's out of print. So if you want to find it, you can find it at used books stores online like Abe Books and other used bookstores. And it should be somewhere around $20. That's what it was new. But it's very likely that I will post it on my Miniature Garden Guidebook Facebook page. I just don't know how to do that right yet. So when I learn how to do that, I will post it there, and you'll have the whole book for free in on your computer. It's 100 pages or so, so it's gonna take it's gonna take up some space. But at least you'll have the information. I never made any money on the book anyway. I think I made 92 cents for each copy that were sold. Anyway,
And then the other question, sorry, there was one other question.
Yes.
Somebody's asking about junipers. I've been looking at junipers lately. What do you think about them?
I have junipers in my garden. So if you look at that first video that pans the first video that pans my garden from this side, not from the porch side, but from this side, you'll see I have a lot of what I call Bar Harbor type junipers, extremely flat, extremely low. They're very nice, very blue. I used to be prejudiced against the color blue-green and yellow-green together. I thought that they were a no-go. I thought that it was wrong. Somebody must have said that or whatever, and I believed them, and I didn't like it. And then one day I was going to a garden in Walnut Creek, California, and saw a plant that had blue-green leaves and lime green flowers, and I fell in love with it. And since then, I have loved the combination of, you see the blue-green on the house there, on the Airbnb house there, that's blue-green. And the other conifers are blue-green. And so is the little plant to the right there. And then that is lime green. This fire chief is a lime green. And I have that combination all throughout my garden because I love it.
Hey, Andrew, while we're at a point here and it's 8 o'clock, you want to do a giveaway?
Sure. If it's a good spot for Nancy to take a break for a moment, I don't want to mess up her mojo that she's got going on. We can go to the next photo while I cue this up, though, Nico.
Okay.
All right.
Go to that one. That way we're not watching me do nothing. I know, shocker, right?
I'm used to it.
We're almost done anyway. So if you want to, this is a cilantro, and I don't know what variety is. My daughter has an organic farm a mile and a half away, so I got it from her, and has tiny little flowers, very small on the left lower. You see the bright light green there, leaves. You can nosh on it while you're in the garden.
Never thought about doing that while I was.
And then it goes away. It's a very quick plant. It comes, blooms, goes away. It's an annual. So if you don't like it, don't worry. It's not going to be there long.
Okay, let's see.
2 edibles. Oh, this is the bridge that I liked. I wanted to mention that garden railway conventions are a really, really good thing for us for learning about things, because you get to take a picture like this of this cribbing. So he has cribbing on the left. Most of this picture is cribbing except the far right. There's about a foot there. He has stones there holding up the track. But I like this. It's like a king. They call it a king truss bridge. And here it has the V-shaped timber in between 2 log cribs.
Okay. That's what I love going on the garden tours.
Yes.
Just because, you see things that you sometimes you never thought of doing before. Stuff like this where, somebody take a
picture of it.
Yeah, some logs and stacks them up, and it's like, oh, that looks great, and you could do that on your layout.
By the way, I'd like to put in a plug for the next Garden Railway Convention, which is in Sacramento in June of 2025.
Mm-hmm.
The Northeast Large Scale Train Show is going to be in West Springfield, Massachusetts again, late April. but they have accepted and will put on the 2026 National Garden Railway Convention there instead of the Northeast Large Scale Train Show.
Okay.
So that's my little announcement. I learned that when at the end of the show that I was at in April.
You know, it's nice to hear this stuff because, you know, if we think back just a couple of years, we weren't sure if there were going to be any conventions or not.
Well, there still may not be any. I mean, the people in the Bay Area lost money. Luckily, they had enough from previous conventions. They lost money. The people in Sacramento are doing a different thing. They're not going to be offering so many venues and go here and go there other than the railways. It's all about the railways. It's all about going and seeing railways. So if you want entertainment, go into town at night or something. You know, this is real. This convention in 2025 is going to be all about the railways. And so they're working very hard to get them ready for you to see.
Maybe we got to go out to Sacramento there, Andrew.
I'll see you there.
We got to go hang out. Yeah.
I'll be giving clinics, and I almost always, I can't remember when I haven't, I give a pruning clinic. So I bring the pruning shears, I bring the plants, and you will get to prune a plant if you'd like a tree.
Oh, wow.
So there was another question there before we jump to the next picture.
Yes.
So, do you, I guess he's trying to say, do you use any preservatives on your wood structures?
Oh, like sealers or anything?
Usually I don't, because I've always used redwood. When I lived in California, I used redwood. And
Okay.
actually now, so now what I'm doing is I'm getting redwood stakes here at the local lumber store, Hammond Lumber in town. And then I'm putting preservative on those. I like the color of redwood, so I wouldn't mind having it look like that. But it doesn't stay that way. It turns gray.
Yeah.
Which I like that as well. So, but the thing is that the Maine, you know, I've lived half my life in Maine, and I know, and it's rugged here. Okay, even though it's global warming. It's still pretty rugged. And so I don't want to spend the time making, like I'll make that cribbing, the trestle for that center garden, the lift bridge.
Yeah.
On either side will be trestle. I'm going to preserve that. And I just get a clear preservative that is not a glossy one. That would be bad because you never see glossy trestle in real life. Actually, trestle is almost always black when you see it, but I don't like black, you know, for a trestle. So some of it black is okay. What I want to show, go ahead.
Get an air gun. I have an air gun that sprays, like, you know, used to spray paint.
Yes, I have one of those too.
And I put linseed oil in it.
Yes.
And then every year I just go over my buildings with the gun,
Good
spray
idea.
everything, the windows,
Good
everything.
idea.
And yep. And then it just preserves it.
So there's two kinds of linseed oil. There's boiled and there's not boiled. Which kind do you use?
I don't remember. I have a can of it in the garage.
Okay. So later then.
Yeah.
So yes, I think preservatives in Maine are good. I think that in California, it's not so necessary in an environment like that where you don't have rain but a couple of months out of the year. So what I did was, I mean, I had trestles and bridges that were made out of redwood that lasted 20 years. They're still there. It's happening 25 years. And, but what I've done is I've reinforced, I used a metal stud along the top of one of those bridges. And where did I show that? I talked about that in something, forget now, one of these articles that I wrote. Oh, I know. It was for Garden Railways magazine. They have an online, meet the modeler, that kind of thing. Yeah. So that's how I talked about that. I talked about building a bridge and how I really loved the bridge, but it was a little flimsy after 15, 20 years, So I put this metal stud on the top, and then I put vertical boards to cover up the metal. So you can't see the metal stud.
Right.
Now, what we're looking at here in this photo is the Phillips, what do they call it? They call it a park. So you can go to Phillips, Maine, which is southeast of Rangeley, southeast of Saddleback Mountain. And you can go to this park where it's all about the Sandy River and Rangeley Lakes Railroad. They have the roundhouse there. This is one of the buildings that they have, and they have things that are labeled like this. If you go a little bit, what do you call it? Get closer to the sign there. If you get closer to the sign, you'll see that they don't know which one this is. It's either number 1 or number 2 of the Phillips and of the Sandy River and Rangeley Lakes.
So that's all that's left of the engine, huh?
That's the one that I'm modeling on my LGB railway. Yes. Is this the end?
No, there's a couple more, but I'm gonna
Sure. Okay.
I'm gonna put the giveaway up real quick so people can enter that while we're talking.
Very good.
Let's see here so people see what we're talking about. I did the right thing here. So if I scroll down, we will have a 12-pack of split jaw code 332 direct to rail clamps. And he also gave us another giveaway that we'll do a little bit later in the show, but this one will be for the direct to rail clamps. I don't garden railroad without clamps, especially if you're running track power. That's me.
Yes.
So if you would like to enter that giveaway, all you have to do in the live chat on YouTube or Facebook is put hashtag clamp in the chat, and that will enter you to win. And let me make sure. Let's see. Is anybody?
Everybody's making arrangements in the chat for you to take the train out to.
I'm seeing that. I'm looking to see. All right, I see a couple people put the hashtag in there. I just want to make sure it's actually collecting it. Yes, it is. So we'll go back to your photos, Nancy, while people are entering that in, because we got we got 2 more photos after this one, it looks like. We got a jail.
Well, this might be one of the buildings that I model. So the fun thing about going to places like Phillips is that you don't necessarily find this anywhere else but where you're modeling. So it's a cute little building. It's pretty simple, so pretty easy to model. I think it has a flagpole on there, and I don't know. I think a jail is kind of fun. It's a tiny, tiny little building. That to me is one of the things that that got me about it.
What do you use to make the siding like that?
So there's a couple of ways. I'm not sure about how I would do this, but one of the ways that there's this clever gentleman in my club, his name is Charles Garbett. No idea if he's still alive, but he very well could be. He makes siding like this, almost like shingled siding, by taking old plywood that he has hanging around, and then he puts it into a table saw to nick the plywood where it bumps up a little bit, and it looks surprisingly like shingles. And that's and then he puts a preservative on it. Very, very clever. I've always wanted to do that.
My friend had this guy he knew that had a blade made for a router, and he would pass it through, and it would make 3 of the sidings, and it would still be like have a thickness so it supports itself, and then you could nail it on.
Right. So the other way that I've done siding is I've dragged a saw across it. I did that my very first railway before I had power tools and such. That's how I was doing things. And then the other thing is that you can buy siding like this. That's what most people do. They buy the siding. And this one will be fun. So this is called Marbles. which is the depot for Rangeley Lakes. I don't know what that big, see the big building in the back of it there? That's the resort that people used to go to in Rangeley. What I'm taking a picture of here is is in a case, a glass case in the Historical Society in Phillips. And so what I see myself doing is getting these kitchen backsplash stones. They're real stone from Lowe's. And I had a client who made a lot of his portals out of them. Very, very nice, because they look like stone because it is stone. And so that's what I would like to do with this. And there's a client, a friend who makes windows and doors in Oregon. His name is Gary Lee. He has a fabulous garden railway, and he likes to make stuff. So at the last convention, he had these windows and doors for sale. And I guess if I told him ahead of time what the dimensions were of the windows and doors that I wanted, that he might bring them to the convention for me. Wouldn't that be fun?
Yep.
Yeah. And then
I've done some custom windows for people for buildings, 3D printing them. Yep.
Yep. And I love the turret too. The current marble station or depot does not have the turret. That went away. That got eaten by time.
Oh.
But the other part is still there, still exists. I'm told. I haven't seen it. I haven't been to Rangeley yet. Next trip it'll be Rangeley.
The station down here in Suffolk has a turret, like, it's a wood station, but it has a turret like that, so you could go up and they would look for the trains incoming and outgoing.
I know. I love that.
Yeah, it was interesting.
Can you put one of those on your train shed, Nico?
Sure.
That'd be cool.
It's already got a loft. I mean, why not a turret?
That's right. And then the next picture, I meant to put in with the information about the Phillips covered bridge. This is what it looks like today. This is what the Sandy River looks like today. Imagine wanting to drive logs on that.
Yeah, I don't see that happening for some reason.
Yeah.
So one of the things that you're looking at here is you can, if you can focus in on it a little bit better, then you can see some sharp edges. That's not the sharp edges there. That's some bathers. That was the part that was the dam. But over to the right here, I think you'll see some. Can't remember. Well, maybe not. Maybe this is not the part. This is not. Sorry. I thought the dam, see, that might be part of the dam, that really long piece out there on the right there. I don't know what they did with the dam parts, but it's not there. That's part of the park in back of that there. And then if you bring the picture back to full scale again, and you look down there, you can see the trees behind where the bridge would be. So what we're looking at the top of the water, when you can't see water anymore, that's where the bridge was. That's where the Phillips covered bridge was. I'm standing on a bridge, the only bridge that's in this area of Phillips. I'm standing on a bridge taking a picture of the water coming down these falls here. And it's not very wide right here, although the river can be wide. Well, it's a lot wider back there where the bridge was, not so wide here. Anyway, just fun things to investigate when you go places looking for information about how to model and what you're going to model and how far you're going to take it, that kind of thing.
Oh, absolutely. Huh.
That's about all I've got.
Okay. Well, I'll cut to the giveaway here, and then after that, I have a plan I wanted to show you, Nancy, and see if you could tell me what the heck it is.
Okay.
A friend of mine likes to give me a hassle about it.
Uh-huh.
I'll get
City might not like my they didn't like my container. They might not like my my turret.
Oh, that's what Kyle's talking about.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. I got to stop that screen so I can start another one. Let's see here. Aha, there it is. Okay, so we're going to find out. This is a 12-pack of direct-to-rail split jaw clamps.
I'm feeling good tonight. I think I'm going to win.
You're going to win?
Yep.
Okay, I'm voting for you, Nico.
Thank you.
Rooting for you, whatever I can possibly do so you don't get robbed. All right. Let's see who our lucky winner is going to be. And don't worry, if you miss this one, we'll have another giveaway here a little bit later in the show. And I think we need to redraw the Larry Otis one.
Redo it. Do it again.
You know Larry Otis, don't you, Nancy? I feel like
you know Larry, Nancy.
I do not.
Oh.
I may know him, but I don't know the name. I know people by faces because
his face is hard to forget.
I see some of these faces many, many, many times, and they come up to greet me, and I go, I know your face, but I don't know your name. So anyway, I'll have to see a face.
I feel like there's a lot of people here that know Larry.
Somebody's complaining.
Yeah.
That happens every time he wins stuff at the big train operators convention.
No, not Larry.
I tell you.
Well, Larry, you know how to get a hold of me because I don't believe I have your address marked anywhere here. No, that's not how you spell my name, Larry. Well, I guess it is, but you got the capitalization wrong there. Just the A. I know I'll be talking to you, Larry. We'll exchange info and we'll get it over to David at Split Jaw for you.
Larry just messaged me. He just wants you to send it straight to me.
Oh, okay. We can do that. No,
thanks,
Larry. Okay, so let's move on from Larry. And let me find the picture I wanted to show here. Help if I would share the screen again.
That usually helps.
Where's it at? There it is. So I'll zoom in some here. I believe it looks like it's dead. That's what my friend, that goes by Dackman, likes to tell me. He says it's dead, rip it out, throw it away. But I actually have this 2 places on my layout, and I cannot find the tag for it.
The nice thing about it being dead, Andrew, is it comes out easier.
Yeah, this is true. It's I'm going to say this wrong. What I found online when I did a picture search comes back as a Carex Commons Bronze.
I think I know that one. Yes.
It's like a New Zealand type of grass, I guess.
Yeah, it's nice.
I've had this stuff on my layout for I don't know how many years now.
A lot of it?
I have 2 plumes. I've got this one, and down at the other end, I have a plume of it. Yeah, there he is, telling me to rip it out. And I absolutely nothing to the stuff. It just grows. And I noticed this year, not this one, but the other plume of it I have, there's actually 3 new plumes further over that it seeded, and it's growing new ones.
The seeded ones are probably smaller, right, Andrew?
Yeah.
Yeah. So keep the small ones and get rid of the big ones.
Ah, okay.
That's what I would do. That way you have them more in scale.
Yeah, because it wasn't this big when I originally planted it years ago. So yeah, I didn't really think about that. But I like stuff that you don't have to do maintenance to.
That's wonderful. Yeah.
Although it looks like it's dead according to Dackman, but that's how it's supposed to look.
Is it actually dead, or is that's just the color of it, and that's the way it looks? That's
the color of it. Let me see here.
It does have a bronze color to it. So
if you look on
it's a bronze colored leaf.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and like I said, I forget how many years ago I got it. I've bought other grasses and stuff, and they wither up and die on me. But this stuff,
do you cut it back?
I have not trimmed this before. No.
Oh, you haven't. Okay.
I imagine it wouldn't hurt that. Some stuff I get concerned about it, but I just bought 4 new boxwoods. Home Depot had them for 50% off today. And I like you can really trim those things up without hurting them,
Yes, yeah.
and they're rather
Most
hardy.
grasses you need to cut back every year, and then they sprout up with new leaves, more in scale because they're new and young and whatever. Yeah.
So yeah, trying to think.
Did you see Dackman's response there?
You wouldn't need to do maintenance to a dead plant. I feel like he's got like a stand-up comedy career somewhere that I don't know about. So I guess my question for you, Nancy, would be what is a good low maintenance ground cover that you could recommend possibly? Because that's something I've had a hard time with getting to actually grow and survive.
So I did an article on Tame for Garden Railways magazine back a number of years ago. I believe that if you subscribe, and maybe even if you just go on and you get the one, there's a whole thing about Garden Railways, which is now, by the way, no longer under Kalmbach, but under Fire Crown, or what is the name of it? I forget now.
Yeah, they got bought. A bunch of their magazines didn't they?
Well, Kalmbach is gone, so
Kalmbach.
yeah.
Okay, they're completely
Kalmbach
gone.
is gone, and so now I'm sorry, I'm just not good with names, so I've forgotten what it is.
Yeah,
But here's the
here.
thing: times are rugged. Times are depending on where you live. But if you look back at the first video, you'll see I've got in the walkway where that split jaw bridge, the Salmon Falls Bridge, is going to go. I have elfin thyme there, ELFIN, right there. You see in the cracks there?
Yeah.
That is thyme. Now I actually it's sort of my exercise that I do every morning. I do these deep knee bends or whatever. Thyme is spelled THYME, Ted. And so it's an elfin. If it's this low, it's elfin thyme. It's great. It's growing in Maine. It went through the winter, so it went through a winter, and the nurseries have all you want of it. At least the better nurseries. Home Depot does not carry it, but a regular garden nursery has it. It's also in front of this little building over here. You see the heritage. I was going to try to make it bigger for myself, but I can't do it for others. If you want to go down there in front of that building, Andrew, and get that enlarged, you'll see, and it's actually blooming today. There are little pink flowers. You see that there? That's 4 thyme plants, 4-inch thyme plants, or maybe they're 4-inch. Yep.
So I see Christopher Sambucci was asking, are there any ground covers that will grow in crushed stone? He has 3/8 crushed gravel.
So keep the movie going that you're on right now, and you'll see they're in the middle right now, and in the left on either side of right. Stop it right now. Okay, those are both junipers, very low growing junipers. There may be a lower juniper than that, but that's the one that I found and could use. And I believe this is horizontalis. Is that right? Shoot. It's a good one. Find the lowest one you can find in your area. So when you're saying, are there any that will grow in crushed stone? I have 3/8-inch crushed gravel. This is Christopher. What you're asking the plant to do is to like no nutrients. And my guess is that what you need to do is to dig a hole and put some soil in there, put your pot in there, and then you let the branches grow over the crushed stone. But no, I don't think there are a whole lot of plants that are going to like having zero nutrients because stone has nothing.
Other
Stone
than weeds.
has air. Well,
Yeah.
the weeds are able to go down in between the crushed stone. And yes, I mean, the thing is, if you like those weeds, then grow them. You know what I mean? Go pick them out of your driveway and put them in there. The problem is that sometimes those weeds, when you put them in where you want them, then they get bigger. They
Yeah.
don't stay little.
Mhm.
You think, oh, that little weed. Oh, I don't need anything. I just use the weeds. Okay. Well, they tend to get bigger when they're in a garden. So,
Excuse me for 1 second. I just got to step away for a second, but
All right.
keep going.
And I
okay.
see Tim Stump answered for us, Nancy. It's fire.
Fire crown. Thank you. Thank you, Tim.
For some reason, I think of like, alcoholic beverages when I hear fire crown. But
Right.
I was
right.
thinking it, but I'm thinking, no, that can't be right. But not making
Yeah.
fun of the name. I'm just saying that's what
Yeah.
I think of.
I wondered about that too.
I see Brian Brunn says he has a lot of elfin thyme on his layout.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
The elephantine is pretty much flat, although I have seen it. It's in my article in gardenrailways.com. If you want to look up the Time article, I think the story is called "The Trains Run on Time." THYME. So if you let elephantine grow in a somewhat rich soil and you don't step on it, it will get fluffy and bigger, but not a whole lot fluffier.
Okay. And I guess not specifically a question for you because I don't know that you would know, but I'll put it up here because I'm sure other people probably wonder. Is obviously Garden Railways got bought. Philip Owens was asking if they will do any, I'm guessing, reprints of the old magazine again. I don't
Well,
know.
you can buy most of the magazine right now if you get the CD, okay,
Oh,
or
I forgot they did that.
The DVD. Is it a CD or DVD? What is it? It's a
I think it's a DVD because it had all the
DVD.
all the issues digital on it. Yeah.
It's got 30 something years, and I think my article might be in there. I don't know, where it is, but no, I don't think that they're going to start Garden Railways again. That was Mark Horowitz's baby, and he started that magazine from his home. He was basically printing it out of his home back in 1904, and then after 10 years or so, he sold it to Kalmbach, and they did a great job of producing it, publishing it, and until we, the modelers, decided we didn't need Garden Railways magazine anymore, and that's why it went away.
And GR News seems to be doing a really good job at what they're doing. I think it's filled the gap and then some. And for people that really, really want to print magazine, they do have a service now that'll do prints of that as well, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Nancy, for GR News.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, that again is that's done by some very dedicated folks.
Absolutely.
And I mean, imagine basically doing all of that work for free, for not, they're not paid. They're volunteers. I know all of them, and they're amazing people.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And so anyway, and they do a good job too. They do a good job.
Let's see, we had a question for you from Steve Junks. He wanted to know, what are your thoughts about using bonsai techniques on a garden railroad to control plant growth?
My thoughts are, do it. That's what I did with that. See, on the left of the photo here is that fire chief arborvitae. Well, that's what I did with that, is I used bonsai techniques. So I went to a bonsai sensei who gave a class in Walnut Creek. I went every month, and I brought my little trees in, and he showed me how to prune them. And I learned a lot, because not only did I learn how I prune my plants that I brought in, there were 20 or 30 other people in the club, and they were pruning theirs as well. So I got to see how they pruned them, and then how they put it in a pot. So the sensei did not like that I put them back in the ground in a garden railway. No, that was sacrilegious or something like that. But he was very, very knowledgeable, and really helpful. And so I recommend going to a bonsai class, or at least for a while, so you get the techniques. I give these classes at the convention every year, and it's interesting to me that the men, more so than the women, are the ones who are, sucking their teeth because they're afraid they're going to hurt the plant. Well, it is true that when you cut the plant, it in some way feels it, feels the cut. But what you're doing to the plant is allowing it to live longer in your yard, and longer with you appreciating it, you coming by and talking to it and go, wow, you look great. Look at how this and look at how that kind of thing. So that's how I feel about it. And I've been doing this since 1997. And I loved, now I do, that's pretty much all I do for my clients, when I go visit them in California once a year, is I sit down in their garden and I prune their 200 trees or whatever. And it's all bonsai techniques. That's what it is.
Mike said, I guess you told him that Star Hobby had some copies of your book still.
So yes, you could. I don't know about them in particular, but there are possibly at this point, because it's been less than a year. It's been less than 6 months, I think, since my book went out of print. There could very well be one of my books in one of the hobby stores, any of the hobby stores. I don't know. I haven't looked.
Okay.
And I believe it was Chuck was asking, when you were talking about the article you did in Garden Railways.
About?
Well, Chuck might have to refresh us on that, because this was
which article? The one on
about
time?
4 minutes ago.
The one on time?
Yeah, Chuck, if you could drop in
Hang
the
on a
chat which
second.
one you're talking
Look
about.
that up. I got to look in my computer.
Okay. And apparently Larry Otis wants to know. Oh, okay, that's what they're talking about. Never mind. It had to do with the digital editions of Garden Railways on DVD.
Well, you can also order it as a book, can't you? They have them. You could order all the all the articles and everything as books.
I don't know.
They used to have
No,
them available. I don't know if they have them available.
No, there isn't such a thing as that. That would be very cool. I mean, I would love to have all my articles as a book, but it's in, what you can do is get the magazines compressed into a CD, where you can scroll through and find that one. I'm looking for hang on a second. I'll find the one.
No, I can tell you, when I'm on the Garden Railways website on trains.com, which, being it, this all got bought by Fire Crown. I don't know if this is still 100% accurate, but on trains.com, if you're sign up for their unlimited members access, whatever that might entail,
Yeah,
so you get full access to the magazine archive with that, I guess.
So I just looked up the Time article is August. Oh shoot, I think it's August of 2015. That would be included in the CD. CD is the right term, isn't it? For
A couple people commented it's DVD because a
DVD,
CD would
but there's
not,
not. They don't move. There's no
yeah,
moving.
it's just for the data capacity because a
I
CD
see.
would not
Okay.
hold
All right.
all of it. So
All
yeah.
right. Very good. So anyway, it's for sale. It was for sale at Combach Books, and I don't know. It must be for sale at Firecrown as well. I have a copy of it in my computer, and I have a copy of it. Physical copy.
Let's see.
Right.
So yeah, on the Combach store, it's $89.95. It covers 1984 to 2015.
Did you say 89?
84.
$84?
No,
no.
the price is $89.95 is what they're asking for it.
Oh, wow, that's a lot, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you're getting a lot for that, I guess.
Well, it's a lot less than if you buy the actual magazines.
And takes up a lot less room. But yes, there's some people that do like the paper.
Yeah. So 2015 has the Time article.
Dan Gilchrist says that they are available in bound books by year.
That's what I said.
Okay.
That's what I'm trying to find, but I don't see it because it was when it was still.
So I also have those. It was one of the freebies that I got when I was the horticultural editor for the magazine. But I did notice that some of them are sold out.
Oh.
So some of them are still, I think some of them are still for sale, but some of them, certain years, they have
Nope.
they've sold out. There's no more. They're out of print.
Yeah, unfortunately, that seems to happen eventually.
Dan just sent it to me on. There's one on eBay.
Yeah, I'm sure you can find them around somewhere.
Yeah, but yeah, they were offering them each year, bound, and I was actually thinking of getting them to get rid of my huge bundles of magazines.
Yeah, one time I had a bunch of Trains magazines, and they were just the magazines, but they were actually in like a special kind of binder.
Yeah, that's what I have my Garden Railways in.
Yeah, which was kind of nice. Let's see. Just looking to see. I thought there was another question in here, but maybe.
May I say something about the picture we're looking at?
Absolutely.
One of the things that I like about this garden is that I started with this wall at the bottom and the reason I did that was because, and I talk about this in the Garden Trains Annual, the stacked stone thing is kind of popular in Maine. I mean, you see a lot of gardens that have the stacked stone look. And so I wanted to the stacked stone look for my mountain as well. It's kind of a rare thing. You don't usually see boulders kind of, positioned so that they don't fall down. And this is a little different. It has a little smaller scale to it. And I wasn't fussy about the way that I put them on there. You can see some of them, if I did it more like a chimney, then you'd have them overlap, all the cracks would be overlapped. But on a mountain, you will often see the cracks are aligned because of the what do you call it? The striations, because that's the way the earth was formed. And so it all works out. It's easy. It's an easy way to make a mountain, stacking.
Yeah, if you stack it too perfectly, it won't look like a mountain.
I know, that's it. It'll look like a chimney instead.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was fun to build. And then the moss, of course, is fun. I don't have too much moss on this side because I'm growing a rosemary, which you can see if you're in the magazine. And so this side is supposed to be covered in rosemary, which I have to take in during the winter. But anyway, the other side is the mossy, licheny side.
Okay. Now, to the right side of the mountain, are those just dwarf spruces that are growing there?
Those are, yeah, it's actually a miniature spruce, I believe.
Oh,
so,
okay.
I got those. I think they're dwarf Alberta spruce, but here's the thing about dwarf Alberta spruce. It's much airier than these two. I have another one of those over on the very left side of the picture. Okay, I have 3 of those. And they there it is.
Okay.
And they see how tight they are? These are very slow growing. So they're miniature, the what is it called? The American Conifer Society or something like that. They have defined dwarf as being conifers that grow 6 to 12 inches a year. And miniatures grow 3. No, sorry. I think miniatures grow 1 to 3 inches a year. And the dwarfs will grow about 6 inches, but they can grow, some of them grow 12 too. I forget. But anyway, miniatures are half the size of dwarfs. These are growing more like miniatures than dwarfs. And I have other miniatures in the garden. They grow very slowly. And I picked these because they were dense. They were very dense, and that told me that they were probably, it's hard to get plants. So the whole thing with the dwarf Alberta spruce is they were first picked off of a tree in Alberta over 100 years ago by a guy who was working at a nursery in Jamaica Plain, Massachusetts, but public arboretum. So and then sold them to other people. And they say that all of them have come from that one cutting. It's called a witch's broom that he cut it off of the tree in Alberta. He was up boarding a train, believe it or not, and he saw it out the window, and he went up and took a piece of it and brought it back to Massachusetts with him. And that's one of the reasons why they do so well in northern climates. But then, so in time, I want to say something else about the plants too. In time, the spruce have reverted back sometimes to the original, white spruce that grow 80 feet tall. Sometimes you'll see something sticking out of them. But here's the thing: do you remember seeing the little bee on the chive flower that was going through there? Did we talk about that?
I don't believe so.
No.
I don't remember seeing that. Maybe that didn't get included in the photos. Anyway, a friend of mine has a tree that was not a native. When it was planted, the native squirrels and birds would not eat the fruit off that tree. It took 3 years for the birds and the squirrels to get used to the plant, or maybe they just got too hungry and couldn't find food somewhere else, or they were lazy and didn't want to go anywhere else. I don't know. But now they're eating the fruit on that tree. They learned, the squirrels and birds learned to like the fruit on this tree that she had. It was some kind of a dogwood. It was not a native dogwood. It was some other kind of dogwood. Anyway, let's talk to our bees and birds and tell them, try out some new flowers, okay? Because they might be good. That's all.
Absolutely.
Why not?
Challenge accepted.
Digs up the brown grass plant, will get a free bag of Not for Sean's jelly beans. Hey, that's not fair. You can't give away a fake product, Sean, that doesn't exist.
Challenge accepted.
And you know what? The grass would probably still keep growing. I'm trying to think what that plant is I have up in the corner. Escapes me now. I know deer like to eat it.
Which one?
It's a plant. I know deer likes to eat it. It's kind of, the leaves are kind of like dark green with like a light green inlay in them. Why can't I think of it right now?
Are you
Yeah,
talking
sorry,
about
I can't
arborvitae?
That might be it, I think.
Is it like an evergreen?
No, not a.
No.
I don't have a picture handy at the second, but all I know is I thought I had killed it, and I had dug up the area where it was at and dumped the dirt in a pile, which is where it's growing now, and it righted itself and started growing the next year. And I'm like, well, okay, I guess I'm just going to leave it right there. Thank you, Dan. I knew you know what I was talking about. Hosta.
Oh, those are pretty resilient.
Yeah, I thought I had killed it. Like it wasn't coming back, and I'm like,
Yeah.
well, all right, I'm going to dig this area up, and I wheeled it to the back corner of the yard and dumped the dirt there and left it there. And the next year, lo and behold, it was growing again. What now, Chuck? Maybe it's the jelly bean tree.
Yeah.
Now that's growing in Sean's backyard. Although I wouldn't mind having a jelly bean tree. That'd be kind of neat.
Well, when we filmed that commercial, I spilled some, so maybe maybe the tree will sprout there.
Tell you what,
we have 7 minutes left.
Yeah,
Do you want to?
I was just going to say I'll put that up there so that people can enter in while we're still chatting away here. Give me 1 second here. So our next giveaway, again from our gracious sponsor Splitjaw, is going to be a 12-pack of the code 332 over the joiner clamps. And the hashtag is still going to be the same. Let's see.
I have a question here for Nancy when you're done.
Go right ahead.
I'll put it there. So Joseph is planning on doing raised bench work and thinking of doing planters in certain areas off the ground.
Yeah, that'll work.
But he's saying, will it last through the winter?
Because they're in planters, you mean?
Yeah, I guess freezing.
There are a lot of plants that can handle. So the problem with the planters is that by raising them up, they don't have the benefit of the evenness of temperature that the ground will give them. So the ground will give them an even temperature, and there's a thing called permafrost. When the ground gets cold and frozen, it usually stays frozen until spring. That's what you want. You want the ground to stay frozen. I have an above ground planter as well that I have put some vines in, and I don't know if it's going to make it or not, but I'm going to try it. I have another area where I have it below the ground, so I can compare the two. And so you'll just have to try it. And like I would use rugged plants rather than fussy plants, and maybe even native plants, because they have all kinds of circumstances. Locally here, we have mountains where there are plants growing up on the mountains like juniper, very rare, very rugged. And the juniper basically live in boxes. They're living on the mountaintop with almost no soil, and so they would be a good choice. And they're nice and low, and you can actually train the junipers up if you wanted to make them look like trees. You can stake them up and do that if you want that all that work of training them up. But you could at least have the ground cover be the juniper, and they would drape over the sides of the box, which would be nice.
I was going to say you get that waterfall effect with those.
Yeah, that's right.
Yep.
Quick note real quick. Like the first 5-6 of you that put the hashtag in, I don't believe it grabbed your entry yet. So it looks like Ken Miller, Darren Warren, Tim Stump, our friend Ted, and Larry Otis. Don't worry about entering again because you can't win 2 times in a row, but somehow you'd break that. And our friend Stephen Barrier, or as Nico says, Barrier.
He's French.
He's French. Oui. If you guys want to enter hashtag clamp again so you don't get missed on the giveaway.
He's French Carolinian.
You know, if there's one thing in this world that you can mess up, Nancy, it's saying people's last names. It never fails. Not everybody can have a nice, simple last name like you.
People mess up my first name all the time.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
What do they call
Yep.
Nico, Nico.
you? Now, is Nico actually short for anything? I never asked you that. Or is that your full first name?
No, technically, that is my full first name.
Hey, and John's giving me a lesson on how to say his last name.
That was like
Simkovich. Is that right, John? Or am I getting that wrong still?
Koovich.
Simkovich. I'll be getting a phone call from John, I'm sure. And there's a comment.
Well, I think you said it originally Simkovich. It's not Simkovich, it's Simkovich.
I see
All right, Russ. Thank you, Russ.
I see KOA and I start thinking of campgrounds, John. Let's see. I thought I saw a message. Well, you said exactly, John, but we've said it 3 different ways already. So Ted says he enjoyed the show tonight, as well as I'm sure everybody else has.
Thank you, Ted.
Pine Ridge Railroad wanted to know, Gardner wanted to know, how do we keep in touch with Nancy? Facebook, email, YouTube channel?
Well, I'm on Facebook. However, I will say that I don't accept a lot of friends who I don't know. So if you want to be a friend with me on Facebook, you have to say, remember me from the StreamYard video or whatever. I don't sometimes.
Do you do any contact through your website or no?
Yes, people can find my email address on my website. And I often have conversations with guys who say, I don't know what to plant in my garden railway. Can you tell me? And I have to say, well, where do you live? And then I try to help them to get the idea that they can go around and steal ideas from other people's yards. So if they see a plant that's in somebody else's yard, public gardens are even better because most of the plants are labeled. If you see something you like, write it down, take a picture of it, write it down, learn stuff.
Yep, that's like I said, that's why I like going to the tours. And
yes, on the tours, you can ask the owner, what do you think about this plant? Do you like it? Is it working for you?
Yep.
Did it go through the winter?
I mean, I've gone to people's houses where they're like, oh, that one you could just take a piece of, and they go get a flower pot and they cut off me off a piece and they hand it to me. And
Nice.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I just I put in the chat.
We love giving away plants. Gardeners love giving away their plants.
Yeah.
It's very true, because I can't say I've met one that hasn't said, here, take some.
We've done it.
It's stuff that grows like crazy.
Yeah, we've done it. My wife has done it. I know on Gerald's layout, he's got some of our plants.
So I did put a link in the chat to your website, Nancy. So anybody that would like to, and of course, there's links to it in the show description as well. But anybody that wants to reach out to you, they can.
It's 9 o'clock now.
That it is. It is 9:01 and 4 seconds, actually, if you want to be technical about it.
Let's be technical.
All right.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you,
Joe and Andrew.
We'll do the giveaway here, and then we'll wrap up. And if you're able to hang around for a couple minutes after we wrap up, Nancy.
Okay.
If not, you don't have to. Nico likes to get to bed right on time, but
yeah,
he can spare a few minutes.
Exactly.
Okay.
All right. Let me share the proper screen here.
I get up early for work.
I get up at the last minute absolutely possible and then use time travel to get there before I'm late. Okay, so get rid of that banner.
Who's the winner? Who's the winner?
Who's the winner? Not Larry Otis. All right, so this giveaway is for a 12-pack of Over the Joiner split jaw rail clamps. And let's see who our lucky winner is going to be. And
Hey, Nick.
Nick, and I can't say Nick's last name either.
Come on, give it a try.
Hey, Olela. Hello, Nick.
Oh, that's right. I think I remember Nick talked to you quite a bit up in Massachusetts. He really enjoyed your clinic that you did up there.
I met Nick at the Northeast Large Scale Train Show.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And Nick will be texting me later, I'm sure. 'Cause I don't recall what his address is. But
I have it. You too. So.
all right. We will one way or the other get your info over to David at Splitjaw, Nick, so that you can get your clamps.
I could type it in the chat if you want.
Yeah, no, don't do that to Nick. He's having like nervous convulsions right now as soon as you said that.
I like to make Nick nervous.
Yeah, I know. Nick's good people. I highly enjoy any time I spend with him, with anybody, honestly. That's the best part of this hobby, in my opinion, is all the people that I meet.
That's right.
I mean, I think I know people from at least 3/4 of the states in the U.S. and some people from outside of the U.S. now.
Yeah.
So,
Alrighty.
all right. Well, we will run our outro here. If you want to hang around, Nancy, for a moment after that, I'd appreciate it.
Okay.
And of course, our next show, everybody, is going to be August 25th at 7 p.m. Keep an eye on the website. We'll have info up there on what the show is going to be about as soon as we have it. And we'll see everybody then. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in tonight.
Thank you again. Thanks again, Nancy.
Thank you all.
And
Have a good night, everybody.
Good night.